Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash, for giving me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach this truth and will. Wabarakatham to the elect. This is the brother Gabar, and I'm back with another lesson. This is going to be over how you're walking alone in this truth. No matter if you are in the camp, all right, you're still walking alone. The path to your salvation is a walk that only you can walk, right? And you got to understand that, okay? It's not, well, since I'm a part of something, I'm a part of this camp, or, I subscribe to the videos, I like the videos or whatever. I post Shalom and they give me a like or they comment sometime or whatever, that alone or whatever is enough. You have to have your own relationship with Yahweh Bashar Shai. Your own personal relationship with Yahweh Bashar Shai. You have to be intimate with Yahweh Bashar Shai in your own life, your own walk. All right? You don't want to think because somebody else is doing something and you're around them or you subscribe to what they're saying or whatever, that's enough for you to make it. Because it's not. The Lord requires you to do what you're supposed to do. Okay? Just like the parable of the talents. He gave certain people talents. All right? And just because you may have one talent and this person has 10, and you're like, well, they got 10, they putting in work. I'm just going to, piggyback off of them. That's not how it's going to work. You got to multiply your own talent still. You still have something that you supposed to be doing. You have a measure that you have to meet. Okay? Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So that's what you're supposed to be doing, working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And yeah, you working out your own salvation can lead to your whole house being saved. You got the example of that like Noah, like Lot, okay? Which are great examples, okay? But you're working out your own salvation. Not the next man is doing this and you're going to get a cut off of that. Or because of what you're doing, this person is just going to win too. That's not how Yahweh Bashar Shai work. All right? Like I said before, the Lord can have favor upon your whole house. Okay? But you have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And that's a key point as well, with fear and trembling. Let me grab a quick precept. This is Sirach chapter 27 and verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently, diligent means careful and hard working at. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. And that's facts. Okay? If you don't want to be over, and that overthrown can come in an infinite amount of ways. And in these last days, the way people being overthrown is not pretty. And we know sure that the time of Jacob's trouble being at hand, the ugliest time in all history, okay, coming upon the face of the earth, it wouldn't be a good time to be overthrown while that time is here. All right. So working out your own salvation with fear and trembling is a must. You don't want to be soon overthrown. Okay. First, you're going into the congregation of the dead, of course, without this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. All right. And hints to that, hey, you don't have stability. All right. And that overthrown, that full overthrown, you being taken out, the Lord can use a plethora of different things, man. As the scriptures say that basically, roughly paraphrasing, they that knew better, they that knew are going to be beaten with more stripes than others. Because people that came into this thing and then still chose to go back, they put the plow down, they look back, they're going to be done worse than people that didn't even come into the truth. Okay? They're going to be the bottom of the barrel 2/3. Okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 8. It says, matter of fact, let's go back. 2nd Ezra 7 and 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. Speaking about the kingdom. And those good things is everything your heart desires. Beginning with those new bodies. Beginning with that salvation. Okay? It says, verse 7. The entrance. So this is how you're going to get to that place. The entrance thereof is narrow, right? The straight gate. Yahushua spoke about that. Okay, the sufferings and stuff that takes place, the purification process, the furnace of adversity, the furnace of humiliation. Okay, the different trials and misfortunes you got to go through. Okay, it says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. All right, so it's a very dangerous path. All right, but Yahushua will keep you in the middle. You got to focus on Yahushua. Okay, now keep in mind, as I read on in verse 8, it says, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. All right, just like the photo I got up, which obviously the path will be a lot skinnier, a lot thinner. All right, but you got this dude walking alone. You got the fire on one side, you got the water on the other side, but you got the kingdom there. All right, and you're walking that thing alone. Okay, you're walking alone. Nobody else is there. You can't go before the Father. And say you go before the Father and you fell into the water, you fell into the fire, and you're going to say, oh, because of this person, oh, because I listened to this person or whatever. That's not really going to be an excuse. You were supposed to do what you were supposed to do. Okay, that person's wicked, that person's evil, but you okay, you got to keep that in mind. So take heed to how you're walking. All right, you're walking so that you can obtain salvation. You can't do anything to make somebody else obtain salvation. Nobody else can do anything to make you obtain salvation. And ultimately, of course, it's preordained before the foundation of the world, before the world was even created. Okay, so understand that you're walking this thing alone and you have requirements you got to meet towards Yahweh Bashim Shai. He's holding you to a certain standard. Whatever he's giving you, that's what he wants you to multiply. And it's different talents, different measures. Some is more, some is less. But that doesn't mean it's nothing. That doesn't mean because this person got more that you don't got to do as much. So now you're not really fulfilling your role, because they're fulfilling something and you think you're eating off of that. Or because this person is doing less, you don't have to do as much, but the Lord is really requiring for you to do more. You see? So you got to really focus on your own walk. And you're walking alone. Nobody's holding your hand. Right? So understand that. Okay? You're walking so that you can obtain salvation. You're trying to put yourself in that best position possible so that when Yahweh shall return, he finds faith in you. Okay? It says, 2nd Ezra 7 and 9, for this city, matter of fact, I'm going to stop there. Now, I read 2 more verses, to get through the point. 2nd Ezra 7 and 9, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Right? How you going to get to that place if you don't go through the narrow? That's the only way you're going to get there. Because if you turn back and go to the wide, where everybody is. Everybody's holding hands singing Kumbaya, right, with their idols and everything, and you just feeling all comfortable in your flesh because everybody's on that path, right? Then what? Then you're going to fall into that ditch. You're going to go into that fire, okay? 2 7 and 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, right? So for Israel to inherit that, they have to go through that danger, all right, to receive it. Didn't Yahushua, to receive what he received, he had to go through hell. And we're not going to go through that exact, what Yahushua had to go through. Okay, he was paying for the sins of the elect. His own sins and the sins of the elect. Right? But you're going to have to walk a path. You're going to have to follow him. Right? Matthew 27 and 32. Slakia, Matthew 16 and 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Right? You got to take up your cross. Now, keep in mind, as I'm about to pull Matthew 27:32, there was a man that did help Yahushua carry his cross, literally. So you're not saying you're not going to have any help. It's just you by yourself, right? All those things, no. There is a body that the Lord has established on earth, okay? There is a body and there is help, okay? But you're still by yourself. You still have to carry that cross alone. The man, which name was Simon, he helped carry Yahushua's cross for him. All right, but he didn't get nailed on that cross for him. You see what I'm saying? You're going to still have to suffer what you got to suffer, go through what you got to go through, do what you got to do, endure to the end. You have to. Everybody's going to have to say no to that MOTB by themselves. All right? Everybody's going to be faced with that hour of temptation. Everybody, individually. Your life, laying down your life, letting go of your life. Okay? Not nobody else. Hey, you can carry my cross and go on this cross for me? It's not going to work like that. Okay? So understand, what you're involved in. All right? Yes, Yahushua paid for the sins of Israel. All right, beginning with the elect. Okay? But you still are carrying your cross, and you still are walking your walk with the Lord, man. Okay? Matthew 27:32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compared to bear his cross. Okay? Now I want to get that in the NLT. Matthew 27:32 NLT. Along the way, all right, along the way, they came across a man, and this is as they was taking Yahushua to crucify him, right? It says, along the way, they came across a man named Simon, who was from Cyrene, and the soldiers forced him to carry Yahushua's cross. All right, they forced him to carry Yahushua's cross. Okay, so even Yahushua, right? All right, Yahushua, he had help. Okay, he had help. Now, let me grab this. This is John chapter 17 and verse 23. I in them and thou in me. This is Yahushua. I believe praying. Let me see. Yep. Okay. Yeah, you read verse 20. He speaks about how he's praying. All right, but I'm going straight to the point. Matthew 17 and verse 23. It says, I in them and thou in me, that they might be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. That's very heavy alone. Okay, that the Father loves the elect as he loves Yahweh Shai. That's very heavy. Yahweh Shai said it himself. Okay, but the point that I'm making is, all right, somebody help Yahweh Shai. Somebody is gonna be helping you along your path too. Different brothers and stuff. Everybody got testimonies. Okay, it comes in different ways, different forms, at different times. Okay, when you need it, but they're not carrying the cross the whole way for you and going on that cross for you, man. Speaking figuratively, of course. They're not. I got you. Hold on. Let me take these nails in my hand and my feet for you, and these lashes and everything. Just go, chill. All right. Now you got Yahweh Shai that literally did that because he did it for the elect. But that was Yahweh Shai in his role that he had to play. Okay. He laid down his life for his friends. All right. But you are walking alone, man, and that's what I wanted to go into. All right, you're walking alone in this truth. Ain't nobody else there. All right, it's you and Yahweh Bashim Shai. And you got to remember that. Because once that day come where Yahweh Shai is here, you're going to hope that you walked the best that you could. Intimately with Yahweh Bashim Shai, faithfully. Right? That's all that's going to matter. You having faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. And sometimes that pathway look like it ain't even there. It's so thin that sometimes it look like it ain't even there. But you still must continue. That's called faith. Believing in what you can't see. Okay? The Lord's going to take you through rough ways sometime to try you and to mold your character. Give you different experiences to turn you into more like Yahweh Shai, to refine you. All right? Sometimes that fire get a little close. All right, and fire is actually a cleansing agent. Sometimes that water is so close it's splashing on you, and water is a cleansing agent. All right, but you're not all the way in the water. You're not in the fire. You're not in the water. You're in the middle. You're kept. You're safe. You're going to the kingdom. All right. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that you're alone. You're walking alone. All right, with Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, and there is sincere believers on this earth, just like you, walking. All right, but it's the same thing. All right, so narrow that only one can go at a time. Okay, so make sure you're walking correctly and you're working out your salvation. You're doing what you can do to make it. That doesn't mean be selfish or prideful. All right, that just means, hey, acknowledge that and understand that, because it's going to make you do even more. All right, because we all want to make it. Right. So if I know I'm working to get myself out of here, well, shit, I'm going to be working my ass off because I'm trying to get out of here. All right. Because if somebody else could do it, I'm not going to work as hard. And don't get it twisted. Yahweh Shai already paid. Yahweh Shai already paid with his blood. All right. But this is what the elect are doing in the last days. This is what they will be doing. Okay. So Lord's will, this is edifying and exhortational. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashim Shai for giving me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Until next time, Kam Yasharallah. Shalom.